She wakes before dawn not because the alarm rings but because her body remembers nights that never truly ended. Her eyes open to a quiet room, yet her heart is already racing, as if danger waits just beyond the walls. She lies still, listening to the slow breathing of her children in the next room, grounding herself in that sound, because it proves she is here, she is home, she survived. Once she wore a uniform that carried weight and pride. She was trained to move toward chaos. While others ran away, she learned how to be strong for everyone else, how to stay standing when the ground shook, how to follow orders without hesitation. She became a soldier, a protector, a leader, and a mother all at once, carrying photographs of her children folded into her pocket through deserts and darkness. She told herself she could handle it. She told herself fear was weakness and pain was temporary. She told herself she would come home the same woman who left. But war does not ask for permission. It enters quietly. It rewrites the nervous system. It follows you back across oceans and waits patiently until the world grows quiet. When she returned home, people thanked her for her service. They smiled, they waved flags, they told her she was a hero, but they did not see her hands shaking at the grocery store. When a cart slammed into a shelf, they did not hear her breath catch. When fireworks cracked the sky, they did not feel the walls closing in. When silence became too loud. She tried to be the mother she used to be, packing lunches, tying shoes, smiling through school meetings, but some days her mind slipped away into places she could not control. Memories arrived without warning, images, sounds, smells that pulled her back into moments she wanted to forget. Her children noticed before she did, the way her eyes went distant, the way her voice grew sharp, the way she flinched at small things. Her marriage strained under the weight of what neither of them could name. Conversations turned into arguments, love turned into exhaustion, and one night, after another sleepless battle with her own thoughts, she found herself alone, sitting on the floor of the bathroom, wondering how someone who survived war could feel so defeated at home. She believed strong women did not break. She believed asking for help meant failure, but the truth pressed harder every day, until one morning her youngest child stood in the doorway, watching her struggle to breathe during a panic that would not loosen its grip. And in that moment she realized bravery was no longer about enduring pain alone, it was about choosing to heal. The first step was the hardest, walking into a clinic and saying the words out loud, "Something is wrong with me." She expected judgment, she expected dismissal, but instead she was met with understanding voices that named what she was experiencing: post-traumatic stress disorder, a wound you cannot see but one that deserves care. Therapy felt like reopening doors she had locked for survival. She learned how trauma reshapes the brain, how hypervigilance is not madness, but a learned response. She practiced breathing techniques, grounding exercises, small steps that slowly returned control to her body. Some days she left sessions exhausted, other days hopeful, and some days both. Healing was not a straight line. There were setbacks, nights when nightmares returned, mornings when getting out of bed felt impossible, but she kept going, not because it was easy, but because her children were watching, because she wanted them to know that strength includes vulnerability, that courage includes honesty. She joined a support group of other military mothers, women who spoke her language without explanation. They shared stories of guilt and anger and love that never stopped. Even when patience ran out, together they laughed, they cried, they reminded each other that they were not broken, they were human. As months passed, she learned how to communicate her needs. She taught her children that sometimes mom needs quiet, sometimes mom needs space, and sometimes mom needs a hug. Her home slowly transformed from a battlefield of tension into a place of understanding. Routines replaced chaos, trust replaced fear. She found purpose again, not only in motherhood, but in advocacy. She began speaking openly about mental health within the military community. She stood in rooms filled with uniforms and told her truth without shame. She said survival is not the end of the story, healing is, and with every word she reclaimed pieces of herself. Her children noticed the change, the way she laughed more easily, the way she showed up fully, the way she understands now that healing does not erase the past. It teaches her how to carry it without collapsing. She no longer measures her worth by how much pain she can endure, but by how gently she treats herself when the weight becomes heavy. Some mornings are still hard. There are days when the mirror reflects a woman she barely recognizes. Lines etched by survival. Eyes that have seen too much. But instead of turning away, she looks back and whispers, "You are still here." And that is enough. She teaches her children lessons she was never taught. That emotions are not enemies. That tears are not weakness. That asking for help is an act of courage. They learn that strength can be soft. That love can be patient. That healing takes time. At night, when the world grows quiet, she sits beside their beds, listening to their steady breathing. The same sound that once grounded her in fear, now grounding her in gratitude. Not because life is perfect, but because she chose to stay. She chose to fight a different kind of battle. She honors the woman she used to be, the soldier who survived chaos, the mother who held everything together with shaking hands. But she no longer lives there. She lives here. In the present. In the breath she controls. In the peace she is learning to protect. There are still storms. Still triggers. Still moments when her body remembers before her mind does. But now she pauses. She breathes. She reaches out. She reminds herself. This moment is not the past. Her story is no longer one of silent suffering. It is a story of transformation, of rebuilding, of choosing life again and again. Not because it is easy, but because she deserves it. She is proof that even the strongest warriors need rest. That even protectors need protection. That even unbroken women bend. So they do not shatter. And when she stands now, she does not stand alone. She stands with every woman, every mother, every survivor,